Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Great to see you all. Nice to meet you. Happy you're here. If you're in a space where you're comfortable to turn your camera on, I'd love to see your face. And if you're resting or there's a lot of activity, feel free to keep your camera off. I'm just going to take a moment for a few more folks to arrive and just check out who's here. Some beautiful familiar faces and beautiful fresh faces. I'm just going to keep everyone muted just for audio quality until we get into sharing. I never know how many people can show up live. There's about 250 people registered. So I just, this could be us, or it could be like 100 more people coming in the door in the next 2 minutes. So we'll see. Well, as folks are still trickling in, let's get started. I like to start with a bow since I practice in the Zen tradition. You're welcome to join me, or you're welcome to not, or to begin in a way that feels good and right for you. If you like, you can just join your hands, and as a greeting, we can bow to each other just to say hello and come into coherence. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for coming to this hour of stillness and flow. My name's Brooke McNamara, and I'm a poet and more so just a creativity adventurer. I love the process. I love spelunking in the human soul and my particular human soul. And I'm also a Zen student and teacher, and more than that, an adventurer of awakened mind and how that's intimate with exactly what's here in this moment. It's nothing separate from all the details of your faces and the taste of coffee in my mouth and the sound of my son upstairs. How reality is so intimate. Um, and I think that's what I love most about being alive and being with others in spaces like this is the way that intimacy can naturally bloom, and that can feel really vivid and powerful, and it can also feel really ordinary. Um, and that we can just relax into it. We don't have to perform anything other than what we already are. And it's taken me a long time to learn that I think that's how creative practice unfolds best, is just by allowing a naturalness to express. And so that's what today is for us to settle in stillness and allow ourselves to just rest into what we are underneath all the impulses to get shit done and all the impulses to fix all the problems in the world, which there are so many, it seems. There's so much pain. I'm aching every day for so much of what's happening around the world, near and far, and you might be aching as well. And so for us to just take a break from the impulse to fix it and to get curious about maybe just being is a way of inhabiting it all rather than trying to fix it. And then from there, what small or powerful voices want to be spoken? And how can we listen for those and allow them to speak through us rather than efforting to manufacture some kind of good poem or something that makes us sound smart, or whatever our ego might be up to. Can we sink underneath that and just allow the river to flow? And it might just be for our own self. It might be just one word that we really need today. Or maybe something comes out that we want to share. and we want to share with one other person or many other people. So this hour is about the naturalness of spiritual awakening and the naturalness of creative expression. And so I hope it benefits you. I hope it feels just a little more easeful, maybe than our culture teaches us things need to be. Um, and I'm realizing I wanna pause my own voice and invite you to check in the chat before I offer anything more out loud. I'd love to hear where you are in the world because we've got folks from all over. And then could you share the yummiest thing you've eaten yet today or drank? I have a degree in English. The yummiest thing you've dranken today. The yummiest thing you've consumed or imbibed today. Where are you? And what's the yummiest thing you've eaten or drinking today? Drank. Can't get this right. And I'm just gonna check out. Oh, Craig is fasting. I'm so sorry. This is gonna be possibly painful for you to hear. Chicago, decaf Americano. I'm fasting in South Dakota. Colorado, cacao. Seattle, delicious thimbleberry right off the plant. Stowe, Vermont, delicious green smoothie. Ottawa, water, nice. Muskoka, Canada, tofu eggs. Louisiana, no hurricanes so far, thank goodness. San Juan, California, fresh peach from the tree. High desert in Southern California, a mango. Ottawa, cherries. England, orange and geranium chocolate. Wow. West Virginia, constant comment tea. Boston, black coffee. Dark cold coffee and chicory with foamy milk. Michigan, water is good. Yes, it is. Ontario, sauteed kale veggie mix. Massachusetts, ancient grains granola. Slovenia, freshly picked forest blueberries. Vancouver Island, water. London. Yes, I heard you have a heat wave. Someone said she can't join because it's too hot in her space there. Pineapple, lemon, and more coconut water. Florida, fasting. Maybe air is the most delicious thing you've imbibed today. Rosemary cottage cheese, BC, Canada, veggie burger. Okay, this is delightful. Saskatoon, delicious nothing. French toast with strawberries. Ooh, right now, enjoy Maryland. Illinois, black cherry plum juice. Nice. Thanks, y'all. I just wanted to get us a little bit into the realm of pleasure and delight and nourishment and into our imagination so we can imagine each other all around the world delighting in air, water, and fruit and whatever else we've eaten. All right. Well, we're going to spend trying to do a little less in these classes. I always pack in too much for an hour. So the first half, we're going to focus on stillness. The second half, we're going to focus on flow. And I want to offer that obviously they're not two separate things. If all we have to do is look at a river to see how stillness happens in a pool of water, but flow emerges right out of that pool into a cascading waterfall. But deep inside the waterfall, there's a sense of stillness. So they're always co-arising, coinciding, co-penetrating. But we're going to practice stillness on purpose for the first 30 minutes through a couple of poems, a little bit of teaching, and a meditation. And then the second half, we're going to focus on flow through writing. Everything I offer is just an invitation. Take it or leave it, and please follow what's most enlivening and nourishing for you. So the way that I want to approach stillness is via a teaching from the great Zen master Dogen, who founded the Soto school of Zen in Japan in the 1200s. He has so many beautiful teachings, one of which is that enlightenment is intimacy with all things. So rather than a need to escape or detach, which is a mistaken cliche of Zen practice, is that we settle into reality as it is right now a little more vividly, a little more intimately, which means a little more messily and also a little more beautifully. And another of his teachings, very, very simple and short, is he encouraged practitioners to meditate by sitting with a non-gaining mind. And I find this so incredibly relieving to my uh, perfectionistic and hyper accomplishing and conditioned to go get 'em personality. The instruction to sit with a non-gaining mind is like a big, huge exhale. I realize it might be confronting for some of us and for some parts of us. Sometimes for me, it's very confronting. How do I sit with a non-gaining mind? There's so much to do. There's so much um, that's needed in the world. And yet, sometimes the best remedy is to let go for a little while. So based on that teaching of sitting with a non-gaining mind, I want to share this poem that I wrote a few years ago. I don't have an assistant for today, so I'm going to ask for your patience as I copy and paste things into the chat. And I'll put this in the chat so you can read along if you like, and if you prefer to just listen, feel free to close your eyes and just listen. I'll read it twice because sometimes it's helpful to hear a poem twice. And then I have another short poem from Mary Oliver, and then we'll meditate together. Okay, so this poem of mine, based on that teaching from Dogen Zenji, is called Faithful Following the Flow, which also happens to be the English translation of my Zen Dharma name. Faithful Following the Flow. In these moments, I let myself thaw from noun to verb, finding my own liquidity, and let gravity begin to pull like an old, sweet summoning. I then sluice through labyrinthian cracks in my own becoming, flowing faithfully right to the feet of this great mountain of stillness behind my sternum. And then here I am, ancient, drunk on the richness of gaining absolutely nothing at all. So one more time, faithful, following the flow. In these moments, I let myself thaw from noun to verb, finding my own liquidity, and let gravity begin to pull like an old, sweet summoning. I then sluice through labyrinthian cracks in my own becoming, flowing faithfully right to the feet of this great mountain of stillness behind my sternum. And then here I am, ancient, drunk on the richness of gaining absolutely nothing at all. So I think I'm going to pause and save the Mary Oliver poem for after we sit and just invite you into this exploration. So I'll guide some simple Zen meditation posture instructions, and please take them if you like or not. You can also feel free to lie down or whatever your body needs and wants today. So if you need any movement or wiggles or stretches or sighs or screams, go ahead and take those now first before we go into stillness. And I always like to look around on the screen and see if anyone's doing something that looks good to me, and then I like to steal that. You can twist, shake, whatever you need. And then when you feel the moment when your body's ready to settle, sitting on a chair or a meditation cushion, you can come cross-legged or kneeling or sitting. If you're in a chair, helps to uncross your legs and feel both feet on the ground. And just find the most symmetrical and stable position and comfortable position possible. We're not perfectly symmetrical beings, so it's not going to be perfect, but just find what feels balanced to you. And then once you do, go ahead and pull the flesh out from under your sitting bones. So you're pulling your butt flesh back, and that will help perch you right on your sitting bones so that your pelvis is really anchored into the cushion or the chair. And you can even let your pelvis tilt slightly so your tailbone is back and your belly is soft. So it's, if you were to exaggerate it, you'd be sticking out your belly like a big Buddha belly. And then you can let that soften. So it's not exaggerated, but there is a soft belly and a curve in the low spine. And then inhaling, you can feel a lengthening through the spine without stiffening or becoming rigid. Just a nice, gentle, even pleasurable lengthening of the spine. And then you can take a couple shoulder rolls back, forward, up, back, and down. And let your breath respond and your neck respond. Yeah, beautiful. Nice. And you can switch directions. So rolling the shoulders up and forward and down. Yeah, and some of you are taking some undulations of the spine side to side. That's really nice. Let's all do that. Like a piece of seaweed underwater, finding that liquidity or fluidity from the poem. So the spine does not have to be like a stick. It's this beautiful, fluid, intelligent matrix. And you can undulate forward and back too if that feels good. You can close your eyes if that helps you feel more and let go of self-consciousness. And then let all that spinal movement get smaller and smaller until it's nearly imperceptible, and until you feel what you might call stillness, but you might also feel a buzzing aliveness after that movement. And some of you are yawning, and that's really good, really good. And let's all just take a nice deep breath in and down to the belly, and then an open mouth exhale with some sound. Yeah. If you know the cosmic mudra from Zen meditation, you can take that now. Otherwise, you can place your hands, palms down on the thighs for grounding, palms up for receptivity, or maybe just on your belly, or in any mudra or position that your hands like right now that feels energizing and easeful. You might feel stillness starting to claim you. After moving the spine, sometimes stillness will start to just make its way in, and you can close your eyes or soften your gaze, whatever feels safe and good. If your eyes are open, please relax them from an alert, directive gaze into a receptive, soft, more global gaze. Meaning you're not looking at one thing, you're allowing the whole cacophony of colors and shapes to just softly come into your field of vision. And I'll invite you to just gently start to connect with your breath. If it felt good to take deeper breaths, please feel free to keep doing that. Otherwise, just let your breath be natural and experience and maybe even enjoy the sensations of the body breathing, how it's gently moved and rocked involuntarily by the breath, gently rocked by the breath. You might notice specifically at the nostrils a temperature when the breath comes in and a temperature when the breath goes out. Just getting curious about these subtleties. What's it like to breathe in your body right now? And if it's interesting to you, you can now let your attention drop down to where your body is meeting the earth and just notice and pay attention and inhabit that place where your body specifically is touching the cushion, the chair, the ground, and just breathe, feeling that place of meeting between body and ground. You might notice a sense of support, ever present support from below, that the earth is always rising to meet you, always already there. And you might be able to allow about 10% more of your weight to yield to gravity and the earth. If you like, you can invite your attention to rise up now and just explore whatever sensations are here in the body. There's nothing to get right or wrong. You're just greeting your own experience right now without trying to fix or change it. Just what's it like in here right now? Enlightenment is intimacy with all things, including these sensations right now. And just noticing thoughts about the sensations or imaginings or emotions, and allowing it all to be as it is. Just a gentle, non judgmental curiosity about being this being right now. And then finally, before we sit quietly for a few more minutes, I'll invite you to take what's called in the Zen tradition the backward step, and to identify as and rest in that which is aware of all the sensations, thoughts, emotions, imaginings. What in you, what right now is simply aware of all experience? What is aware of my voice? And might it be possible to do a little less and simply rest as this which is aware? So we can simply be a space in which experience arises and then goes. Being a space in which anything can come and go. We can be intimate with the experience and then liberated from it. Most importantly, not getting tangled up in any of these words, but simply resting and abiding in a vast stillness. Resting and abiding in a vast stillness. I'll ring the bell 3 times now, and then I'll ring it 1 time to end in 5 minutes. Okay, thank you. You can begin to, some of us already made a bow, but if you want to complete with a bow, we can do that together. You don't have to. You can also just complete however you like, maybe a little hand to the heart or whatever feels good to you. You can also gently begin to transition from meditation back to the screen, and feel free to take a moment to gaze out your window or at a candle, or take your time making that transition from meditation to community. And before we engage here in conversation, I want to invite you right into some writing prompts, just like a pool in a river that then starts to trickle and flow. We'll just see what wants to flow from your pen. And if nothing does, I often say to students, if nothing comes through your writing, well, then at least you're still meditating, because that gesture of being listening at a threshold, at this sweet edge of listening and expression, it's hard to tell where meditation ends and expression begins. So whatever happens is just right. I want to start really simply with a writing prompt. You can use it or ignore it and follow whatever's most alive for you. Maybe you just had a memory or an insight that you want to write about, and please do that. But if you'd like a writing prompt, I'll put it in the chat. It is: sitting with or as non-gaining mind, I notice, and you can flow from there. Sitting with or as non-gaining mind, I notice. I'll give you about 4 minutes with this one, so you can just let it come very naturally. Hey, just taking a couple more moments to finish that or create a pause. You can come back to this later if it feels really alive. And if it feels just super juicy, feel free to keep going as I'd love to hear from one or two of you briefly, just because we don't have a ton of time today, but I'd love to hear from one or two of you before we move on to the next writing prompts. And you can pass, but I'm wondering if Elizabeth, if you'd be willing to share. Feel free to pass if you want to, but my attention just went to you and I see you laughing now.
Sure that I want to share this morning, but I'm so grateful to be in this space again and dropping in. It's what I need.
Awesome. Great. Yes. So perfect to just say hello and no thanks. Good to see you. Deb, I wonder if you'd be willing to share. Hi. I'm just going for it and just calling on people today.
Yeah, you are. We just want to say hi to you. I ended up meditating a little bit longer because you know me. That's what
Yep.
I, and so I loved that pondering of where does meditation end and expression begin. So I went in and out of that.
Mhm.
Um, I said, sitting with or as non gaining mind, I notice quiet, surprise, curiosity, a joy, sleepiness,
Yeah, totally.
expectation, tired eyes, tired body. And then I did some more meditation, more closed eyes. And then, is it okay to give permission to just be
Mhm.
and enjoy the silence? That was
Mhm.
where I got today.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
I was laughing because a lot of that resonates for me. And then I was just thinking anything's possible with non-gaining mind. It's like when we actually stop, it's possible that what I notice is anger or what I notice is grief. Because if we're not trying to get something or somewhere else, then we're invited to experience what's right here. And that's not always easy. Sometimes it's so lovely and it's exactly what we're craving. And other times it's exactly what we're trying to get away from. And so this is a gentle but rigorous invitation moment to moment. And it's not the ending. So thank you for sharing, Deb, and thank you all for going into that exploration. But I have there's another side to the story, which is that in a lot of spiritual practice, it totally depends on where you're practicing, but in a lot sometimes desire will get a bad rap and will be asked to relinquish desire. And classically in Buddhism, desire is considered to be the cause of suffering. However, I wanted to offer that for me, the recipe that I've come to find a reliable way to experience intimacy with my life is both non-gaining mind and including desire. And it's a paradox, obviously. Non-gaining, we're not getting anything, we're not wanting anything. But the other side of the story is that it's just true that what drives life is eros, is desire. And we can include it skillfully. And in fact, my teacher often quotes the historical Buddha as having said, he instructed his students to have few desires, but have great ones. So to clarify, to not just be pushed and pulled around by every little desire, and in fact, to sit as non-gaining mind as a way to kind of clear the palate for a moment, but then to make contact with what are my great desires in this life? And how can I feel those and experience energy, aliveness, and even love to take action where it's needed and to simply enjoy and savor this miraculous gift. So that's where we're going to go next. There's also my teacher has a rabbi friend who has studied Kabbalah, and I don't know this tradition, but he has said that the definition in that tradition of enlightenment is the clarification of desire. So that's where we're going to go, is first letting go of gaining, and now we're going to pick up wanting. And we're going to do it through some writing prompts, a series of writing prompts. And I'll just give you a couple minutes for each. And again, take them or leave them, follow what's alive for you. So the first one is very simple. I'll give you 2 minutes. What I really want is, and see where that takes you. What I really want is, for 2 minutes. The next prompt just flows right out of this, so you can just continue and also allow the next prompt to take you a little deeper. It's underneath that, what I really, really want is. So whatever you're writing about, underneath that, what I really, really want is. So continuing and taking this or leaving it, the next one is letting myself want this feels like. So there's just a series of prompts, and you can follow where the aliveness goes. Letting myself want this feels like. Flowing into the next one. If I got this that I most deeply want, I could finally. These are all in the chat for your reference. And they'll be in a follow-up email if this is moving too fast for you. Just know you'll receive these prompts later. If I got this that I most deeply want, I could finally, and see where that takes you. And if you've got it in you for one more, this is the last one. Take it or leave it. What's flowing now is. What's flowing now is. If and when you feel complete enough, I'll just invite you to pause the writing and close your eyes or just find a way back into your meditative mind. And just notice the impact of allowing yourself to get still and then allowing yourself to flow and allowing yourself to empty of desire into non-gaining mind and then allowing yourself to fill with your great desires in this life. What's that like to empty of desire and then fill with desire and flow between stillness and flow? And then nice and easily, you can just bring yourself back to the screen. We're almost at the end of our hour. It goes by so fast. I love hearing from you all. And just because of timing, I just am going to see if Walter, my attention's going to you, and you shared in the chat that you were appreciating the prompts. Is there anything from the prompts that you want to share, either from your writing or what you noticed happened in you as you were exploring them?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Brooke. I've been through something similar in an art of meditation class, but I think this was a little bit different.
Mm.
And I was just drawn to like joy and peace. And yeah, I just felt really good. And I got really deep into it and was certainly non-gaining without even thinking about non-gaining. It just sort of happened.
Mhm.
So thank you so much.
Thank you. I wonder if you, Walter, and anyone else, if as you're writing about your deep desire, if you can start to feel not only the desire for it, but the thing itself, can you start to feel it already with you a little bit? Like, I want joy and peace. Can you feel a little bit of it already here? Sometimes that happens, not always.
Yeah, it's
I
kind of
see
like
some of you.
why not just do it? Why not do the
Yeah,
things that will bring me peace and just do it?
yeah. Just be it now to the
Yeah,
extent
be it.
possible, and keep also pursuing it with fierce gumption. You know, if we really want it, it's worth giving everything for, and we can be it now. So there's a bit of a paradox there too with being and becoming. But I find this really enlivening. Oh, I'm seeing some things in the chat. Oh, incredible, so powerful, wonderful, heart opening. Oh, great. I'm feeling it's not my meditative mind, but my meditative belly. Great. Yeah. So much painful suffering is coming up in the reality of my experience. I hear that. Yeah. There's so much more to explore. So before we're out of time, I want to invite you all in the chat. I've put, if you want more of this, I have an 8-week Awakening to the Poetic fall course. A lot of you have taken the course many times, and this is what we do. We meditate, and then we write, and then we talk about it, and we read poems, and we connect in small groups and big group, and it's just so soulful and nourishing. It's one of my favorite things to do, and so I'd be happy for any of you to join. There's 3 price points to try to make it accessible for different financial contexts. And you can read more there. And I hope to see you down the road. Natasha, thank you. Okay, so you'll get a follow-up email with the recording and the poem. I didn't get to Mary Oliver's poem, but I'll put it in the follow-up email and all the writing prompts. 1 hour is so short. The workshops in that course are 2 hours long, or they're an hour and a half with a half-hour meditation up front. So if you want more, I'll see you there or somewhere down the road. I always like to end by dedicating the merit of our practice. So if you want to, you can join your palms or bring your hands to your body. Sorry to rush some of your feedback at the end here. I just want to end on time and respect your time. So may anything good, may anything beneficial, may the energy and love and clarity and vitality that we've cultivated together today, may it truly bless each of us in real ways that we can feel and know. May it spill out and touch those we love and we come in contact with. And may somehow the merit of our practice benefit all beings everywhere. May it be so. Thank you all so much. I'll see you down the road. Take really good care.